Hi all, this is Marshanka from University of Colombo. So today we are going to talk about another incident, another cyber attack incident, and let's see what we can learn from it. And this is a famous one, again from USA, reported in the range 2019, 2020, and 2021. And this is called the SolarWinds attack. So just like the Colonial Pipeline, another famous one, but this is a different approach. So there's different things to learn from this, and we'll talk in detail how the attack happened, who is responsible to it, and how the investigators identified and the implemented security measures, and how they overcame the issue, and how they are going to avoid similar scenarios in the future. First of all, what is SolarWind? So SolarWind is a SaaS solution provider, software as a service, um, IT infrastructure supply management, and network administration via full access to customer data logs and workflows. So, how did the attack happen? SolarWind offers Orion, an IT performance management and monitoring system used globally, even by the companies like Microsoft, Intel, and Cisco. Right. So Orion accesses customer system performance logs and data, so making it prime target for attackers. It was the victim of a supply chain attack that impacted thousands of systems and customers worldwide. So this is that critical. So I would say, in a way, this is more critical than Colonial Pipeline attack, the full pipeline attack. Yep. So the background of the breach, timeline. So this is running March 2020, but certain report says this is running since 2019 and through 2021. So March 2020, initial infiltration by attackers. December 2020, breach publicly disclosed. So just see, close to a year this has been undercover, right? So subsequent investigation ongoing throughout 2021. Methods used for the attack: supply chain attack where um, SolarWinds Orion software updates. So the system provides a software called Orion, and through a update, this malware has, or malicious code has been distributed. So the malicious code is known as Sunburst. So the location, as I told, this is in USA, Austin, Texas, where the headquarters of SolarWinds are. So this is another, brief in a timeline scale. What happened when it happened in the SolarWinds Sunburst attack. All right. So since we're talking further in detail, let's jump into the next screen. We'll be covering it. So identification of the breach. So who identified the breach in the first place? So discovered by the cybersecurity firm called FireEye. So they also were infected by the issue. So detected unusual network activity and unauthorized access. Who identified it? FireEye's cybersecurity team during routine checks. So that's why routine checks are very essential to have in a company, and even in a personal level, if you can do it, that's really important nowadays. So subsequent involvement of US government agencies and other cybersecurity firms, so they've been able to identify the issue. Motivation for the attack is basically, spying and intelligence gathering. So targeting governments, agencies, critical infrastructure, and private sector companies. So as I told, Microsoft and similar scale companies were affected. So attribution: suspected involvement of Russian attacking group APT-29 or Kosovo. Containment steps taken to avoid and overcome the situation. How they handle it, basically. So immediate actions: removal of compromised SolarWinds Orion versions, publicly advisories, and public advisories and patches issued by SolarWinds to recover the issue from the client's ends. So further steps: detailed investigations by cybersecurity firms and federal agencies, threatened uh, strengthened cybersecurity measures and monitoring by affected organizations. Scale of damage, operational impact. So let's see, when we compare with colonial cyber attack and this, what is the gravity, and obviously we can compare both, but in terms of the gravity, yeah, we'll see. So breach of multiple US government agencies, right? Severe. DHS and Treasury, Commerce, compromise of numerous private sector companies, including Microsoft and FireEye. Economic impact: extensive resources devoted to mitigation and investigation of this particular case. Potential long-term cost related to security upgrades and damage control. Reputation damage. So this is a bigger damage, than the immediate economic impact. So erosion of trust in SolarWinds and affected entities. Increased scrutiny of supply chain security. So for example, let's say companies like Intel, and government companies plus Microsoft, Cisco, how can they withstand this level of reputational damage? Attack vector: supply chain attack through SolarWinds Orion system, injection of sunburst malware into Orion update. So that's how the attack has taken place. Malware is used, and their techniques, I would say. Sunburst allowed remote access and data exfiltration. Teardrop, secondary payload for additional exploitation. And supernova, web shell used for further compromise of networks. So lessons learned from this: the entire story itself is a lesson, but a couple to pinpoint is importance of supply chain security and third-party risk management, implementation of zero trust architecture, and enhanced network monitoring. So zero trust architecture is a different topic to talk about, but in a high level, let's say there are models where as one architecture will not depend on the output of another, right? One system would not take dependency, or would not take results or take actions based on another system's output. So they act independently, so there's high potential to capture if there's any anomalies in the networks or in any monitoring areas. So governmental industry response: development of guidelines and regulations for critical infrastructure protection, and collaboration between private and public sectors for information sharing and threat intelligence. So this is a very important thing that's always better to have. For example, even in the colonial pipeline attack, private and government sector go together for the investigations, and because the expertise and intelligence is different, because they have different technologies and exposure for certain projects. So better to get together and fight or investigate these sort of issues, and so as a result we can avoid such cases in the future. So conclusion, as a summary: significant cyber attacks within widespread implications, highlights vulnerabilities in supply chain security, necessitates robust cybersecurity measures and proactive defense strategies. So final thoughts about it is the continuous improvement of cybersecurity practices is crucial, that we need to keep our staff and employees up to date with the so then they can identify and escalate anomalous behavior in the network. And collective efforts needed to mitigate future cyber threats. So this is the overall picture and the report of cyber attack SolarWinds hack. So thank you so much for joining, and we'll talk further. Thank you.